In this clip, we're going to create a little stump for our tree. So here we are back in Zbrush, and I have went ahead and re-imported the stump mesh here, and that's basically the same one from 3ds Max that we had earlier. And that is just to create the inner layer of our tree. So this is a cool trick I've learned not long ago, and it really helps to sort of sell the tree idea. So I'm going to go ahead and select my move brush here. In fact, I'm going to select scale. Let's just frame it. I'm going to turn off the gizmo for now. Hold shift and just push the gizmo right here in the middle of the stump. Switch back to gizmo, and that way I centered my gizmo. Now I can click this little icon here to center it further. And I'm going to go ahead and actually shrink down this part a little bit, right about here. I'm going to go transparent, and I'm just going to move it right about here. Looks pretty good. And so before I sculpt the actual internal part of the stump here, I think it's still a little too big. I'm going to scale it a bit more down and go transparent again. Move it right about here. That should be perfect. Turn off transparency, make sure it doesn't penetrate anywhere apart from the top here. Perfect. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to select the tree. Hold Alt. And as you can see, by the way, I have finished up with all the roots here and merged them together, just like we did at the top. So now I'm going to select my brush here, go to Brush, AJ, and I'm going to select the AJ wood here. And so now I'm just going to make sure I have a morph target stored. Put this away. And I'm just going to go ahead and start putting these in here. You can also use the orbs slashes. If you go orb slash, that's another great brush for this situation here. Perhaps use the smaller one. And I'm going to increase the intensity again. Pretty good. Right about here, and here, and here. I'm just going to go in and actually use the orbs crack at this point. Also increase the intensity. And just make a few more. That should be perfect. So now we have the bark sort of going through, and this will be the bare piece of wood underneath. Redynamesh again. Solo it out. And I'm just going to use the H polish at this point and just polish it out a little bit. Just so it works nice and well and everything is pretty clean. Pretty good to me. Here, we can make this a little sharper. And the idea here is basically to separate the inside of the tree and the outside of the tree, and basically use that to create the effect that this branch been cut off a while ago, and the bark around it sort of decimated a little bit. I'm just going to use the orb polish here as well. That looks pretty good. And maybe just make this like a little bit shorter. I'm just going to use the AJ polish here. Pretty good to me. Perfect. So now I'm just going to select the stump here. Hold Alt. I'm just going to go ahead and Dynamesh it. Use the smooth peaks and just going to smooth this piece out here. So this is going to be a bare wood tree. So I'm just going to go in, actually increase my details here. And I'm just going to go in and actually just draw a nice little pattern. So I'm just going to use the pressure sensitivity to just make slightly different scales of the line. Perfect. So just drawing basically the inside of the bark here. And that's something you sort of practice a little bit. Whenever you draw these sort of tree patterns, it's all about just practice makes perfect. Learn how to use the pressure sensitivity to, to make different scales. Voila, that looks pretty good to me. So another thing we're going to do is just going to use the outside here to do the same things. Go in here, maybe even go through a little bit. just using the orbs crack here. A few more lines. We could even go ahead and use the pattern that we've used for the outside of the tree, but you don't really see this piece too much, so I'm just gonna hand do it because it's just gonna be a little bit quicker. So again, I'm just using the smooth peaks here just to make sure that it's nice and smooth and there isn't too many sharp lines. And I'm trying to connect these lines so everything kind of makes sense. And maybe even go with H polish. And just smooth those out a little bit. Give it a nice little texture here. I'm gonna go in with the AJ polish at this point and just gonna give this edge a little bit more interesting shape. Here we go. Just going in and then smoothing it a little bit behind just to make sure everything is nice and smooth. And you do want to make sure that you don't have too many sharp lines, because sharp lines don't translate well to the normal map. So it's always best to have nice smooth lines, but not too smooth so it doesn't look too washed out. One thing I'm noticing, a little bit of a tree sort of goes through the lines here, so I'm just going to select clay buildup, solo it out. I'm just going to make a little hole in here at the top, redynamesh, and it looks perfect. So last thing, I don't like that a lot of this mesh kind of goes all the way to the edge, so I'm just going to select AJ polish again. I'm just going to go in and just fix those up a little bit, so fixing the top part. Here we go. I want this to look like it's been there for a while, so somebody cut out the branch a long time ago and it sort of just grew over and healed, but you still see the scar. Looks pretty good. I might actually go ahead and take this stump here. I'm just going to increase the scale just a little bit, maybe a little too small. Perfect. That looks way better. And now I don't like this part here. I'm just going to go and select move brush. Make it a little larger. And just going to go in and make sure that this fits a little bit better. And then move these, make them a little thinner. And now it's perfect. So that looks really good. I really like this. So this is it for this clip. In the next clip, we're going to go ahead and just add some final details to the tree to finish it.